What's up, Patriots Nation? You're Inside the Edge, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to drop a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. Today we're going to talk about Cam Newton, and it's been a off season already, even though the season is still continuing. But because of the Patriots, not being in the playoffs, it's kind of a weird year for New England fans. Just the depart of Tom Brady and just all these question marks of what's to come in the future. And, the Patriots only winning 7 games. Even though I think, for Patriot fans, I think that's something to still be proud of. We knew that this was going to be a downhill year. We've seen the Bills on the come up. Tua doing what he's doing in Miami. Miami's going to be in the come up in the next couple of years. The Jets, they're still struggling, but the division is definitely tougher. The Bills have their way right now. So for New England fans, this was a frustrating season. You can pinpoint to Bill Belichick, or you can pinpoint to Cam Newton or Josh McDaniels with the play calling. But as a collective, I think New England has a lot of question marks that happened this season and moving forward in the offseason. But for me, I think the biggest gripe, most of us as fans, we get into the quarterback talking and, just looking at Cam Newton and what he's done, in New England, just looking at the stats. He's completed 65% of his passes. He threw for 2,415 yards with 5 passing touchdowns and 10 interceptions. But you can add the 12 rushing touchdowns. He would still have 17 touchdowns in totals with 10 interceptions. So I understand that perspective of people just looking at the stats, stats-wise, of why he shouldn't come back to New England. That's a strong case for a lot of people. But, I also try to take into consideration, what Cam was facing when he came to New England. I didn't think he was going to come in and be the same guy just because of the multiple injuries that people just forget about. 2 years ago, he had a soldiers, he had injury, I believe it was on his shoulder. I don't know if it was his throwing shoulder, but he dealt with that about 2 years ago when he was in Carolina. And then his final year, he tweaked something in his ankle, and he only played 2 games, last year in Carolina. And then throughout all that with COVID, being out of football for about 12 months, it was a hard process for him to come back to football, and on top of that, play for New England and play under Bill Belichick. So, looking at it from that perspective, I understand why Cam struggled. I also do think, I give him his props in the beginning of the season. I believed he did play good in the first half of the season due to COVID. I think that's what kind of set him back a little bit. But, when you look at the first game of the season against Miami, Cam, he played spectacular. And then you look at the second game against Seattle, that we were like one play away from winning the game. And, against the Raiders, week 3, that was another good game by Cam. We ended up winning that game, putting up 36 points. But then after that, it just seems like everything went downhill. Obviously Cam, he had COVID, so he missed a few games. So, from me, what I was seeing from the offense of New England was our play calling and just looking at our offense, looking how plays are developed. And I think what Josh McDaniels tried to do with Cam was bring in a playbook that Cam is used to. So, you look at him in Auburn, you look at these double sets, these, quarterback dive plays, a lot of play action. That's what we try to do this season. And I just think it did not work. Cam Newton was sacked 31 times. I believe that might have been, he's probably the most sacked quarterback. That's a lot of sacks. And, New England, our line is very, very good. If you look at our run game, it's pretty good because of our offensive line. But I also think while we struggled on offense, you can say the receivers wasn't there this year. People could barely even memorize the receivers we have. But, Jacoby Myers, Damian Bird, I can't even. Yeah, it's really, really, really bad when you really look at our offense and what he had to deal with. And I know that's like one pushback that a lot of people, bring up as well, was he didn't have, the playmakers to make plays, and he didn't even have Edelman this whole season. And that might be another video I might make with Julian Edelman. But I just think a lot of the rollout plays, play action, I think it took so long to develop, where Cam was in situations when he had to scramble, be mobile, and run out the pocket. And like I said, him not playing 12 months, 12 to 13 months in the league, I think a lot of he didn't have a lot of leg. I could say he didn't have a lot of leg under him to start the season. You know, you can tell like he wasn't his normal self, or he wasn't the, he didn't have the speed that we usually see when he was in Carolina. And I think him being an escape artist, that did not happen this year for Cam. I mean, he had a lot of good runs this season, but I just think him being under pressure, I think that's where Cam struggled the most. And our play calling could have been better this year. I think Josh McDaniels, we need to throw away that playbook, and we need to develop plays where Cam can throw the ball down the field. And I think that was the biggest struggle for New England, was throwing the ball down the field and moving the chains. New England, we relied on the run game, as we should. Sony Michel came back late this year, but he had a couple good games. Damian Harris is another upcoming running back. So, our run game is pretty strong. But I also think Cam, a lot of these rollout plays, bootleg to the left, bootleg plays to the right, I think all these dropbacks are developing so slow, where defensive players are rushing, because they see these they see James White on the left and maybe Burkhead on the right. They, a lot of teams are figuring out, like, it could be a quarterback sweep run. It can be a little screenplay, a lot of short passes. That's what we're seeing in New England this year. And I think a lot of teams defensively understood, like, this is a team that's not going to throw the ball down the field on us. This is a team that's going to beat us, moving the chains, playing at a slow pace, short passes, 5-yard passes, slants, things of that nature. And I think that's what ended up hurting New England in the end. I just think a lot of teams defensively game plan for our offense. We didn't do anything different. We seen a lot of gadget plays, stuff like that with our offense, and that's how we've struggled all season. So I just think our offense has a lot of question marks. Defensively for New England, I think we're going to have a better season next year when Dante Hightower comes back, Patrick Chung, guys of that nature. Obviously we have young boys on the line right now, like Josh Uche, Alfredine Jennings, Nidovich. These are young guys, young linebackers that's gonna, that has a lot of potential that, they just got to go out there and play. But we definitely have some depth on defense, but I think a lot of question marks is on our offense. For me, I know this could be a hot take, but for me, I think Bill Belichick is going to sign Cam Newton to a 1-year deal. I think he should, just because, Cam obviously struggled this year, but we have to acknowledge he was injured last season. He was coming off a Straudic injury and haven't played in like 10 plus months, and to just go out there and play the quarterback position, it's a hard task. But I think this year he's gonna, he mentioned it over and over, pretty much every week when he did interviews. He always said, I'm trying to continue to understand the playbook, get better, motivate my team. So, Cam has the leadership, but I think coming into next season, giving him more time, because that's one thing he mentioned, like, he kept saying, I need more time, quote, in his words. I think, if you give him more time, I think he'll develop into being a better quarterback. Just getting more reps. It was just like, this was just a struggle season, but this was a season that had to happen. And for Patriots fans, build and destroy. I don't know if you ever heard of that quote, that ideology, but in order for things to evolve, things have to be destroyed and things rebirth. And I know a lot of players, Cam Newton, Bill Belichick is going to learn a lot from this experience, from this year, and grow moving forward. And, the future is looking bright for New England. We have probably the most cap heading into the offseason. I think we're like 4th right now, so we're going to have a lot of cap. And on top of that, we're going to have a first-round pick. So, this is going to be good things for New England. And, I just want to just make this quick video. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but New England fans, this is our off season, even though the playoffs is still happening. But I'm going to talk about Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, what the future is going to hold. But I just wanted to drop this video for you guys, and, Patriots Nation, and try to build, a fan base with you guys and build a connection with you guys. And let's talk Patriots, let's talk football, and, this was just a video that I wanted to do. So if you're new to the channel, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to put out some more videos. We're going to talk about Julian Edelman and what's next for him. We're going to talk a lot about New England. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, drop a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Be safe, take care, and have a good one, guys. Peace.